Good evening, my name is Tiffany Polk. Today is week 5 of the axial and appendicular skeleton. We're going to start off with the axoskeleton, the anterior skull. We're going to start off with the nasal bone, sphenoid, which is inside of this eye area, your lacrimal, which is right here. Above that is your ethmoid. You have your zygomatic. You have your maxilla, which is here and here in this area. You have your mandible, which is the jawbone. You have the frontal, and you have your vomer bone. Take it to the posterior side. You have your mandible here, occipital. You have your parietal in this region here, and you have your temporal on the side. We're going to take you to the lateral side of the skull. You have your temporal, you have your parietal, you have your mandible, you have your maxilla, you have your nasal, you have your frontal, you have your occipital, parietal and temporal, if I did not say that, and you have your zygomatic. Now we do the inferior skull. So with the inferior skull, you have your ethmoid, you have your frontal, you have your sphenoid, you have your temporal, you have your parietal, and you have your occipital. That concludes the skull. We go to the vertebral column. C1 is known as your atlas. C2 is your axis. Your cervical vertebrae consist of 1 through 7. Your thoracic region consists of 12 vertebrae. Your lumbar region consists of 5 vertebrae. You have your sacrum, and you have your coccyx, which is the tailbone. Now I'm going to turn it to the front for the thoracic cage. You have your mandible of the sternum. You have your sternum. Your ribs. The first 7 are your true ribs. 8, 9, and 10 are your false ribs. 11 and 12 are known as your floating ribs, and that concludes the axoskeleton. Now moving on to the appendicular skeleton. So you have your clavicle, which is here. You have your humerus. You have your radius. You have your ulna. And here you have your scapula, which is behind your ribs right here. Now we're going to go to the hand and wrist. You have your phalanges here and here in this area. Metatarsals. You also have your pisiform. You have your lunate, your hanate, capitate, triquetrum, your scaphoid, trapezium, your metacarpals, and your sesamoid. Sorry, I'm looking for your sesamoid. And the sesamoid are these 2 little bones right here. And that concludes the hand and wrist. Now we're going to go to the lower limbs. You have your ilium, your pubic bone, your ischium, your femur, your patella, your fibula, your tibia, and then we're going to go now to the ankle and foot, which will conclude the appendicular skeleton. So the sole and heel is your calcaneus. You have your phalanges. You have your metatarsals, You have here your talus, your navicular. You have your intermediate cuneiform. Then you have your lateral cuneiform. On the side here, you have your medial cuneiform. And then you have your cuboid. If I didn't say it, your phalanges are here. And that concludes our axial and appendicular skeleton.